Can you start from round 6 going all the way up to round 140 using just 4 towers? Today those 4 towers are going to be Sentry Champion, Ultraboost, Carpet of Spikes, and a Homeland Defense. Support only chimps. We've got our engineers out. This one's going to be our Ultraboost engineer. This is going to be our Sentry Champion engineer. And then where are we going to place our village and our spike factory? Well, I'm leaning more towards over on this little rectangle down here in order to catch out any balloons that might escape down here. But the carpet of spike's sole purpose is mainly to catch DDTs out. And you're probably wondering why I don't have any white hot spikes. Well, we have something else which will mitigate our need to buy it, called MIB. Let me know if you'd like me to see me do this with the other categories, like a primary towers only, 4 tower chimps around 140, military, magic, you know what I mean. But I think for this given point in time, for me personally at the moment, support is a really good category. Like, these 4 towers in their own ways have a purpose, 2 of which are mainly for supporting other towers, but then the other 2 are literally for wiping out the balloons, mainly the Sentry Champion itself. So let's get cleansing foam so that we can decamoufy camo balloons, and we can now pop lead balloons. Cleansing foam provides a really unique kind of damage type because I don't think it's something that is really documented at all. It's a damage type which enables any attack that we do to be able to do any kind of, well, pop any kind of balloon except frozen balloons, which is quite similar in a way to the glacier metal freeze, but we're not able to pop, I believe it's white balloons. It can still pop frozen balloons, but not white balloons, which belongs to a, I think it's a 402 ice tower, if I remember correctly, or a 302 ice tower. It's anything but a white balloon. Sentry Expert Online. In any kind of very late game run, having a monkey village of sorts is just an incredibly valuable tool. More attack speed, and at other times a temporary increase to your attack speed and the pierce of said affected towers. Jungle Drums is now online. Also, don't forget about your deconstruction. You need a deconstruction if you want to take down the Moab class balloons with the Sentry Gunners. Well, you don't need it, but it does help. Okay, let's put down our spike factory over here. I'm going to place you over here so that our the Sentry Expert has a bit more room in order to try and place down its sentries, rather than this blocking a part of the means of being able to put down a sentry over here via our Sentry Expert. Although we should have put something down here to block the sentries from being able to be spawned down here, because they're kind of a bit of a waste down here, when the majority of the time I want the sentries to be more or less in the center of the map to be able to cover as much of the map as possible. Yes, round 53 syndrome with these cold sentries. This is only mainly for round 78 because today I cannot be bothered to do cleansing foam micro. Our next objective financially wise is to get our Sentry Champion up and running. And then from there overclock, then Ultra Boost, leaving these 2 very much alone for the near future. Don't worry, this will work because a 2-tower chimps with these 2 particular towers, so the Sentry Champion and Ultra Boost, is possible. I also did a 2-tower chimps video with these 2 particular towers on Resort, where the Sentry Champion got 2 mega pops, as well as having Ultra Boost by it for support and all that factor, and I called it the 2T, 2MP, 1TTC challenge, which is essentially 2 towers, 2 mega bops, 1 tower type chimps. That was a fun video. Actually, it's more fun than let's say a shell shock 2 mega bops or a heavy shells 2 mega bops. I still got to go around and do the shattering shells 2 mega bops. Oh yes, damage over time. Isn't that fun? This is what I mean by round 53 syndrome. the Sentry Expert only knows really at times to summon cold sentries when you really want energy sentries because you're facing against 3 Moabs on the round. You can't always get yourself a means of being able to get yourself the energy sentries to do that bit of bonus damage against Moabs, and cold sentries, they don't do jack against Moabs. This thing keeps thinking that the camo pinks are a bigger threat. No, the big fat ass targets that also has pink balloons inside them should be a bigger threat. We are really close now to getting the Sentry Champion, and one thing that's been on my mind for a while is that I generally want to improve myself on this game by being able to do advanced maps and expert maps on chimps, but psychologically I just think to myself, I think I'm just going to waste so much time just attempting to come up with any kind of strategy for myself in order to be able to do this kind of runs. Like, some people say that it's very easy to pull off. All you gotta do is put this tower down, perform this upgrade at this time, do this and do that. But for me, it's like, I don't find myself having any kind of sense of enjoyment on something that I consider for myself to be improbable, something that is completely out of my own personal physical reach. And I'm sure a lot of you watching right now can probably feel the same thing when it comes to like expert maps on the chimps difficulty. I'm no chom where I can just go through a chimp scenario and come up with a strategy on the spot. Like, I know that every player who can do chimps easily nowadays on like an expert map has had to go through the perils at some point of being able to come up with strategies and come up with the mindset of knowing what to do within a chimps run. But for me personally, the obstacle is just way too high in order for me to A, find any kind of sense of enjoyment out of it, and B, I don't feel like that the pain of learning how to do expert maps chimps is for me personally worth it. I don't find myself finding any kind of enjoyment on expert map chimps. Like, Geared can sometimes be considered as an expert map despite the fact that it's an advanced map, and I did a video on that once and I barely scraped along by, let alone not being able to do any kind of black border Geared, even though there are lots of people out there that say that it's a really easy map to do it. And I just gotta say, good on you for finding it easy. For me, I don't find it easy. That is my own personal subjective opinion. You are free to agree or disagree. I'm not of the mindset of arguing with people who say that they disagree. What I'm more or less concerned about is the angle in which some people come off as disagreeing. People don't like the fact that another person has an opinion that is even 0.01% outside of their own opinion spectrum. So they see it as like a personal attack when they see a different opinion that is not their own opinion put onto a bit of text, let's just say. So if I say that Geared chimps is an absolute nightmare, some people will probably think, well, you just have cancer, you obviously don't know what you're talking about, it's clearly very easy to do, you don't deserve to have a channel whatsoever. Something along those mindset where it's like, okay, you're coming from a perspective that every single player has to be like you, otherwise you think that that kind of play just doesn't exist. And there are comments that floats around on the internet dogging on other YouTubers like myself. I'm thinking, what kind of narrow mindset do some people have when it comes to like putting your opinions out there and thinking that the equivalent of a schoolyard bully is somehow the appropriate response in order to go down a particular route of trying to I don't know. If you want players to improve at a game in which you are very good at, then give advice. Don't give like a schoolyard playground equivalent of a bullying session, because that's not going to do anything. In fact, pulling people towards you in that kind of way is going to have the sheer opposite effect of pushing people away. And I feel like that's why sometimes I just have to mute stupid comments or stupid stupid perspectives, because it's not worth responding to a perspective which is otherwise just inherently there to be abusive in the first place. Anyways, I actually completely forgot about the fact that we can afford overclock now, which we're going to be using on our Sentry Champion to A, boost his attack rate, and B, boost the amount of sentries in which we can deploy out. So yeah, that's kind of like my spiel for the day, and that is, if people are just going to offer you non-existent advice but only serves a means to drag you down, then just ignore it. Because all you're doing is feed into their own ego by responding to it. If you not acknowledge it, if you don't directly respond to it, then what you're doing is then defeating the bait and switch in which people are providing to you because they want a response out of you. It doesn't matter if it's a positive response or a negative response. If you don't give them the light of day of a response, then you defeat the purpose of their bullying in the first place. Anyways, round 79, what we've got ourselves here is, and that just goes across towards like any kind of bullying, like if you don't take acknowledgement from it, then eventually the bully will just think you're boring and they'll just try and find another target or more importantly, reconsider their own life choices because obviously bullying is not the correct route. Round 80, our first ZOMG and our support only 4-tower chimps R140 expedition challenge / main. We know the Sentry Champion is going to get the most amount of pops. That's not even a debate. Like, it's just the setup we got going on at the moment. Yeah, going carpet spikes first is just illogical. Like, we just don't have the firepower in order to take everything down. Especially with the fact that the carpet spikes, or at the very least the middle path spike factory, keeps getting nerf after nerf after nerf for more updates that keep coming out. When we do get Ultra Boost, the spanner over here will last for more than 100% of the time, and that's for temporary boost. The permanent stacking, where it goes up to ×10, well, in its name is a permanent stack. But we shall always be using the overclock on our Sentry Champion here, so that we can get as many of these champion sentries out as possible. And in update 43, Ninja Kiwi decided that the Sentry Champion was not powerful enough and decided to give it a 50% damage buff from 2 to 3. And I think that's also including the champion sentries themselves. Like these are powerful enough in and of themselves. Like, you think 2 damage is not that powerful at all, but they have an incredible rate of fire, so therefore that damage boost is incredible. And for some odd reason, they need to give it a damage buff. We are so close to encountering our first set of DDTs. DDTs you think you can just get through my defenses. Well, at some point, you're going to wish you didn't exist. With the power of spikes, which are nearly as powerful as treading on Lego. I've heard that Homeland Defense is possible in a 2-tower chimp scenario, like with permacharge or like Sentry Champion. That's one of the options that you can go for. And carrier flagship, I've tried that in my spare time, and round 98 just looks like you are essentially relying upon a 100-sided dice, and only one of those 100 sides will give you victory, because the carrier flagship's many planes, like directions in which they go in, are completely random. Here we go, round 93. We are, oh, we're so close to an Ultra Boost. 9 months away. Has anyone got 9 months to spare? I was very poor, but now I am so ultra slim poor. Oh dear. But on the bright side, we do now have Ultra Boost, a very, very worthwhile investment that will definitely enable us to be able to get through this scenario. By the way, this time's stacking very, very good. Round 93. So 4 done and dusted. I don't know how to speak there. Keep on applying that Ultra Boost. Bigger stacks. Shredder gonna go up to carpet of. No, we should go MIB first before we go for Spike Storm. I should have done that actually, just so that our spikes by default can pop DDTs. which are our one weakness with this at the moment. Now you could say leads are, but now leads will... Well, leads still spawn by default. I think that they will do in the later on games. Like there's the odd 1 or 2 rounds. Like, I definitely know purple spawn past the hundreds, but when it comes to just loose leads, I don't know. I don't pay enough attention. And I just know that if we can deal with DDTs, then we can deal with purples. That's just the general criteria, because it's like, well, plasma and fire, they can damage DDTs, but not purples. So we've got Spike Storm. We'll use that when we are in a pinch of sorts, which is not right now. Round 98 could be, but again, these two on their own are possible. Just keep applying the Ultraboost to our Sentry Champion over here. I don't even know why I activated that, because that just was not necessary. The Carpenter Spike's like passive Spike Storm ability lasts much longer than the actual Spike Storm ability itself that it uses, so just take that as you will. The lifespan of those spikes increases. Round 98 done and dusted. We'll be able to get the ×10 stack up and running before round 100. And there we go. There is the bad. And just to be clear, bad, we're not on friendly terms, and you're just going to go down, okay? Deconstruction, oh so sweet. Deals that bonus damage against Moa class balloons, and you won't survive. If I can deal with your bigger, badder parent, you won't last long as well. Now we're going to think about ultra boosting our spike battery here so they can turn out more spikes, but we still need to at times give an ultra boost ability to our Sentry Champion, just so that we can have that temporary buff as well to our... Well, it's mainly for production rate of these champion sentries, rather than just, I don't know, the attack speed of the engineer itself. Like, that's not the most powerful factor about it, but I still like having it, actually, because if you don't have MIB, then it's very useful for those purple balloons, which with champion sentries obviously has a problem against. Oh gosh, this round is looking very, very plentiful when it comes to the amount of... Oh gosh, look at all this. I think we should be in the clear though. It's just the amount of pierce we sometimes need is overwhelming. Holy moly. Yeah, this is really looking very, very topsy-turvy at the moment. Let's just say that. I think we just need to have our complete attention of the Ultra Boost onto our Sentry Champion here so we can place enough champion sentries down. Oh my goodness sakes, this is looking really bad. Maybe I should not have Ultra Boosted that. Or we could go to Call to Arms. I like to believe that we can do this without the need of that, but obviously, if this lack of Ultra Boost here, like we've got the permabuffs obviously, but without the other thing on board, we are really struggling here. Yeah, I think I would rather just get Carpenter Spikes for that permanent increase in power, but I do think we actually honestly need Call to Arms first, which is not ideal, but for us to be able to go for this scenario, that's obviously going to be the thing which we need the most right now. I don't like it, but that's just the thing in which we need to do. And then later on, it'll be like, nah, you should not have Ultra Boosted your Sentry Champion here. You should have just, Ultra Boosted your Spike Storm. You should just went with Sentry Champion, you numbnut. Although alternatively, I could just detonate these champion sentries, but obviously we can only spawn so many at any given point in time, even with all of these buffs that we have. Holy sea of champion sentries on the field. Also ×10 Ultra Boost on our Spike Storm here. I was contemplating the amount of pierce required for all of those super fortified ceramics. Not cool whatsoever. And yeah, that's an error and a half. Just ultra boosting one of your champion sentries there. That's not going to benefit you whatsoever, because at some point that's going to explode. And also sometimes the positioning of abilities can change. No, this is not another run. This is the same run, but just whenever you place down a tower, it can alter the positioning of the abilities if you decide to reset or restart the round from the main menu. Get what I mean now? Alongside making the middle path spike factory not as powerful, but they also decided to give Carpenter spikes a price nerf. It used to be the lower 40k, now it's the middle 40k in terms of the price margin. Carpenter spikes is now active. I would love to have you a bit earlier, but alas, better late than never, as I say. Oh no! Goodness sakes, I thought it was that green balloon that's gonna be the death of us, but nope. It was another super fortified ceramic somewheres in there. Is this going to be a better attempt to get the call to arms up and running? Because there will be never enough call to arms. Call to arms! Call to champion Sentry arms! Now I know it's going to be almost useless, but I just want to have times 10 Ultra Boost on our Ultra Boost and village as well. Just because if I feel like I'm treating all of our towers here equally and not just the two most powerful ones. Now we do have one final upgrade to get before our financial situation has been sorted. The Homeland Defense ability now increases attack speed and pops by 100%, and pops translates to pierce, ladies and gentlemen. 4 monkeys for 20 seconds. So rather than just 15 seconds, it's now 20 seconds. We do have to be wary of not just wasting our Ultra Boost on our 2 more or less useless towers here when it comes to Ultra Boosting them though. Just so that we don't prevent ourselves from being able to do a particular round here. So I'm going to play it safe by using Ultra Boost now. Obviously call to arms as well. Get rid of all of those DDTs. Are we going to use Ultra Boost again on our Carpenter spike? Well, we've got that stack going, so I'm going to say no. But you may never know. The future might be uncertain. Just kidding. It's always uncertain. It's the future after all. Call to arms and then use your spikes for mobility, because each pile of spikes gets more pierce and more of them fly out from the Carpenter spike itself. It doesn't work the same with Ultra Boost, where it just increases default attack speed. Although it does work really differently when it comes to monkey farms in this game, because using Overclock and Ultra Boost increases the number of bananas you can produce. Which obviously is a reversal of if you have Call to Arms or Homeland Defense active as well, because that doesn't do the same thing actually. It has no effect on monkey farms. But what's really unique about the primary expertise is that Ultra Boost both increases its range, its expansive range of like how many towers it can affect, but also because it's an attack, it increases its attack speed as well. So you get a 2-in-1 bonus there, and it's solely for the primary expertise upgrade. Always be wary of when you're using Call to Arms or Homeland Defense. Don't use it at the very end of a round, because if you fail that next round and when you reload back into that round, the ability will not be active, even though technically you have just activated it at that quote-unquote given point in time. Canada, truly the home to the best support of other nations the world has ever seen. I mean, it's never lost a war before, right? I reckon our Ultra Boost engineer friend here has got a bit of a headache as it keeps yanking itself between targeting the frontmost balloon and then placing a cleansing foam stack over here. I've got to lay down those foams, for goodness sakes. It's part of my arsenal. Even when we don't have an Ultra Boost active on our Sentry Champion, we can somewhat make up for that, well, more or less make up for it, by having Homeland Defense active, which obviously sometimes is not active. Oh my god, look at me about what the hell's going on here? It's almost like, it was like there was no stopping those Moabs there. It was like that one animation GIF meme sort of thing where the guy takes off a set of sunglasses, but behind those sunglasses is another pair of sunglasses. We might have a few issues on our hand here. Let us not Ultra Boost our Homeland Defense here for the time being. Let's just have them all on our Sentry Champion here. because round 131, when it comes to the first 140 rounds of the game, has the most amount of RBE. It has like about over 20 fortified ZOMGs, which is a lot of RBE considering the scaling of the balloons themselves. And I might have done this. No, we haven't done the same mistake because we now have Homeland Defense active. Times 8, just 2 more Ultra Boost stacks, and then we will leave these 2 alone and just concentrate on you. Or perhaps even you, as I think about it right now. Here's a fun fact about Canada. It is the second largest country in the world when it comes to land mass that is recognized as in the borders of Canada itself. Do you know who number 1 belongs to? It begins with R and ends with A. I'm not going to mention it, but I'm pretty sure you know which country that is. It's north of China. It's also north of Mongolia, and it's east of Finland, and it's west of Alaska. I've given you enough clues. I'm hopeful that you can figure that one out. I'm not going to name it, but you know which country I'm talking about here, okay? It's where all the vodka is. Also now, each of our 4 towers are the proud owner of having times 10 Ultra Boost stack on them. And no, these do not count as their own independent towers. They are part of the Sentry Champion's arsenal. Thank you very much. Holy moly, these ZMGs, when they're all stacked together. Holy gosh, the amount of pierce required to deal with everything is just insurmountable at times. Because on round 137, all of the ZMGs that spawn together, all of the BFBs that spawn together, all of the MOAs that spawn together, they all spawn on literally exactly the same square. And oh my god, we need the spike storm, thank you very much. And passive, thank you very much. This is your purpose. Eliminating the DDTs. Okay, we're going to put the Ultra Boost on our Sentry Champion here. And round 140 is going to be an absolute doddle. Like, I know I'm making light of fortified BADs, but this is just going to be the demonstration of what we can do against one of these. The damage against this is brutal. You don't stand a chance against me and my arsenal of stuff. There we go. Homeland Defense ensuring that... that was just an absolute whitewash. Like, the fortified bad was nearly completely gone before the second bad spawned of that round. Like, you think being in the support category that towers would be the least powerful out of the 4 categories? No, they are not. Even our Ultra Boost wasn't that bad with 450,000. I mean, the deconstruction factor obviously played a very big part in that matter, but 40C with only supporting towers, debatable that 2 of them are in the same monkey category, being engineer monkeys, but in the same main category of being support towers, I think this was a very good well done here. Now, do you think that it's possible with a super mines? I believe I have done a super mine scenario on a 4TC. No, I haven't. I just looked up on my channel, video 0. Yeah, I think it's for Saber for trying to get a super mines. It's incredibly improbable. Yes, I'm not Chom that I can get the possibility of a super mines on Infernal. I just put that into equation, okay? So yeah, the only thing that's changed about this is the end round. Sorry. Nothing else has changed. Restrictions in place. You see, there's no modifiers here. There's no arrows going up or down. So thank you all so much for watching, everybody. This has been the customizable challenge that I put at hand of these 4 towers on, well, what arguably is the easiest map in the entire game here. There's always also up there as well. I'm just going to say that out loud. thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please be sure to give this video a thumbs up along with commenting and subscribing so that you can see more videos like this in the future. And another way of supporting the channel is by purchasing anything within the shop using my creator support code, and I would be thoroughly appreciative of each and every single one of you. But like I say, usually the best creator code that you can put down is any creator code, really. Doesn't matter if it's mine or somebody else's, but secretly I'm going to always say use mine. Thank you all so much for watching, everyone, and take care of yourselves.